Hey, thanks for being here. Appreciate you spending some time with the show as we get ready to wrap it up for the weekend. Heading out of town, we hope you've got a blessed weekend and a fun weekend planned for this Memorial Day. Want to spend a couple of moments sharing a story, and a couple of stories, actually. If you've listened to the show for any length of time, I really do appreciate you following us. I lost a brother in Iraq 20 years ago tomorrow. I'm the oldest of three brothers and am blessed to have the two of them as my brother. But Tom was a special guy, and 20 years ago he lost his life. But there's also some significance around the story and what I've learned in the last 20 years of the men and women who have served our country. And this especially, this day is set aside, Monday is set aside for those whose lives were lost. But I've been touched by the veterans. But I want to recognize a group of people that are not recognized as much as I think they should be, and that's the parents, because losing a brother still chokes me up 20 years later. I can't even imagine losing a child, but I have been so motivated and inspired by the parents that I've met, and there are so many of them, and I know there's no way I can list them all, but I've been thinking about them. First of all, I want to mention a guy named Tim Quinn, and I've never met Mr. Quinn. His son, Mike, was with my brother, and there were a total of 11 soldiers on the night my brother was killed that died. Two of them perished. One of them was my brother. The other was Mike Quinn. And I've never met Mr. Quinn. We've corresponded. He lives here in the Valley, and we've corresponded every year on Memorial Day, and we correspond maybe once or twice a year, just hello on text messages. But I never want to forget the suffering of a parent. Margie Bonds from Military Assistance Mission, who lost her son, Michael Marzano, and has spent the rest of her life honoring him by caring for the men and women that are serving currently. She is responsible for so much with her strength and the grace and the things that she has done. And again, these are parents, and I'm naming a bunch of people. The Emerson family, I just met Miss Emerson at an event recently speaking to a group of people, and she was so eloquent. She heads up the Gold Star Mother Society. I believe she's the state chapter president, but she's in that organization, and she continues to spread the message of Gold Star families. Vicki Dreyer and her family, she lost her son Corey on the same date as my brother, but years later, and has just been another person that has been so active. The Martins family, Tammy Pulaski, the Piestewa family. We all know the story of Piestewa Peak, or at least we should, of how Lori Piestewa was the first Native American woman who was killed in combat. She was killed, oddly enough, on March 23rd, which is my brother's birthday. It's just an odd coincidence, and I had the very great privilege of being with Lori's mom and family on the anniversary of her death, and at the Piestewa dinner where they honored families. And the reason why I mention all of these people is throughout, in spite of their grief, and while they are grieving, all of them have turned around and served the people around them, making other people stronger, reaching out to other Gold Star families, reaching out and making sure that the new members of this club that is so horrible can endure it as much as possible with people around them. They've done great work for veteran organizations and for military service organizations in carrying on the memory of their children. And I can't think of a stronger group of people. So this Memorial Day weekend, I would be my wish that you would tell the stories of the men and women that serve. If you want to tell my brother's story, I'd be honored. If you want to look up Pat Tillman's story, I'm sure their family would be honored. The Piestewa story and Lori's story and the grace of her family would be a great one, or any of the families I told you about. But if you're a parent and you're going to make sure your children understand the significance of the sacrifice, I think it starts with you as a parent. Nobody wants to think about their child being in trouble or being in danger or being ill, and never mind the thought of losing a child. But for a moment, allow yourself to understand the significance of that loss of these parents. I think it helps you tell the story, because the acorn usually doesn't far fall from the tree. When these heroic men and women do what they do it because they're a legacy of service. My mother, with the strength and the grace that she endured losing my brother, it was something you never get over. You never get past it. But what you do with the rest of your life tells the story of who you are when there is tremendous loss. So I hope you have got festivities planned for Memorial Day. I hope you're planning on doing a lot of great things and fun things. It's different for my family, and it should be, but I hope yours has got something planned that's fun and American and all of that. But maybe tell one of these stories. Recognize in your own mind that for certain parents and siblings and family members and loved ones and widows and widowers, it is a really tough time, but we all endure. So thanks for your support. Thanks for your messages, and thanks for everybody reaching out. It means a lot to me. We'll be back on Tuesday to talk more about what's going on in the world here, and especially in Arizona. Have a great, blessed Memorial Day, everyone. We'll be back on Monday or Tuesday morning.